Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. Carolyn, are you ready to read roll call, please?
Welch. Morgan.
Here.
Stan Anderson.
Here.
Husted.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Mike Anderson. We do have a quorum.
Okay, with that, we'll stand and say the flag pledge. Rick, would you read the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Um,
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any order of business for emergencies?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, with that, we'll have a police report. Sergeant,
Thank you.
welcome.
Everybody had a nice holiday, good New Year. I think last week was better than the week prior. Just want to say we have a new sheriff. Sheriff Mueller was sworn in on Tuesday. We're pretty excited about that, and you might see him around town, so that'll be good. We had 2 arrests. One arrest was for an assault, and the same individual that committed the assault, a week or so later, violated no contact order, so he's arrested again. So we had those 2 arrests. And I really just want to commend the community of Wall for their actions, for your actions, and the community actions during the time.
There's some background going on there.
And all our communities for that matter, because honestly, the results we had were amazing because we didn't lose anybody in Pennington County. And that is a direct reflection upon the communities that we have in our county, and I'm just proud of everybody for that. So, thank you so much. And I do want to do a special shout out to deputies Christopherson, Cordell, Plowman, who were here for majority of it. And doing the best that they could during that whole ordeal, so I just want to give them special recognition. And Public Works, the fire department, everybody just amazing, so really appreciate everybody. And
Tell Chris Opperson meals is breakfast if we have to pull you out and get stuff.
it's fine to be, buy you several.
And you should give him $1 for every time somebody asked him when the interstate was gonna open.
You can retire probably. But thank you very much, everybody, and the community is amazing, so proud to work here.
Thank you, deputies, for sure, to help us get through that, because it was certainly an example of everybody working together, for sure.
A lot of entities coming together and making it happen, so.
Exactly. Okay,
Any questions?
thank you.
All right. All right, have a great night.
Have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you very much.
Hope your night goes good. Okay. Do we have anyone who needs to declare conflict of interest? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes, the claims, and the budget report.
I would just comment, I don't have cemetery claims. I just did not get it off there.
Okay, so it is the City of Wall Fire Department. and the library. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that brings us to our visitor, Richard Smith with the Red Cross. We invite you to the podium, please.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciated being able to come tonight and talk to you. So I just want to reiterate what Deputy Parkins said is just what a wonderful community that you live in, how great Wall is for what happened. So know this didn't happen just here in Wall, but it happened through Underwood, down through about every exit. There was somebody, Wicksville, at every exit, there was somebody that was stranded, that somebody opened up the door. But you guys just did an exemplary job of taking those people off the street that had been stuck out on the highway because of the accident or whatever happened, they were able to come here and be safe. We don't want to take lightly what Randy said is, nobody lost their life. There were no serious injuries. How great is that, that's the way our communities are. So the communities we live in, all across South Dakota, specifically here in Wall, just what a great group of people that came forward. So worked with Carolyn. She was able to provide a list of some of the people that, most of the people to recognize. And so that list was, I think, 56 people is what we came to a final count with, people that assisted during that. So if you think about that, 56 people helping around 150 people who were just traveling down the road for Christmas holiday, New Year's holidays, all these holidays have been taking place. So what a great achievement that their last thought about was, wow, Wall was a wonderful place to be stuck. It's a terrible situation, but you know they feel good about that. So I have a couple certificates that I just want to recognize here. So I would like to start with the mayor. So we just have a certificate of appreciation for the mayor, just for your leadership through all of this that's taken place. So it's just a little certificate, but just want to tell you thank you. Thanks for what you did. Greatly appreciated. The second part that I will do is the Wall City Council members. I'm gonna pass this. I'm not sure how you guys would like that, but I'll just pass it around so you can read it again. Thank you for what you guys did to show leadership. When we look at what happens in natural disasters like this, it's a very difficult time on leadership to make the right decisions, to want to make the right decisions, to be engaged, because you've got families and other issues that are going on as well. So just want to thank you guys for your leadership as well. So starting over here, and you just want to pass that around?
Hey, I'm gonna go this way first.
So you know what, Kelly, with this gentleman being here, could we get a quick picture, you think, with all of
Yeah,
us?
absolutely.
How about if all of us, maybe move to the right-hand side and let's just take a quick picture? So we walk over here where we can get in a group and. Hey, you want to join us? Not really. We gotta get closer together if we're gonna get a picture. Yes, and let him. I didn't realize this was gonna be.
Put Stan on the,
Oh, yeah. Put them on the,
See the same thing.
all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to mention, I've already given Carolyn hers. Just want to tell you what a wonderful, when all this started, I gave her a certificate. When all of this started, what a, it's, again, these things are whirlwinds. Hey, there's been a traffic jam, the Pennington County Emergency Management called, said we're open a shelter, we're stuck and we can't move. So that's a pretty big challenge for us. And we would much prefer to be here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later on. So I do have, like I said, a lot of certificates, and we'll be passing those around. Carolyn's gonna help get some of those out. I'll come back up and deliver some more of those out to some of those businesses that helped out. I've already been to Common Sense to do some of those. So thanks again. Just want to remind you, don't forget what a great community you live in, because you do live in a great community. We had other shelters open in other places, but I'll tell you, didn't go near as well as what happened. And we spent quite a bit of time visiting those places, trying to take care of those and keep them going. It was great that Wall was able to do what they do. I shared a little bit as back in 2007, I was actually stuck here in a blizzard one time as well. So this has always been dear to my heart, because I just started with the Red Cross and ended up stuck here spending the night, kind of having a family reunion around Thanksgiving. Next, one of the things that I would share with you is one of the challenges we have is volunteers. We provide free training to volunteers, but help everybody to work through that. So I will work with Carolyn as well to try and get some additional volunteers. We would provide the training, so if something like this happens, it really becomes easy to open up what is called a Red Cross managed shelter, where we take care of everything. Food, the shelter, keeping the area clean, getting volunteers in, helping those clients to meet. We were fortunate that there weren't really too many difficulties. We have people with disabilities that start to create challenges. You may get people that are convicted felons that are not able to be around people, so we want to help to set that up so it's successful, so you don't worry about what happens in the shelter, that the shelter's a safe place for everybody to come. So we look for those volunteers, we train them, give them everything for free. Fortunately, and hopefully that doesn't happen very often if they're needed, but we keep them updated so that they go along. There's no cost for anybody to do that. We just like to have them come on board, get trained, and then we show them what kind of happens. There's a reason we had a disaster trailer stored here with cots and blankets, is we recognize this is typically a choke point because of what happens kind of between here and Rapid City. That will stay here most of the time. There are times like during the basketball tournaments, if there's reservations that have basketball teams in the playoffs, we'll start to move our trailer to Kadoka. Our trailer is usually here between here and Kadoka, just depending on what's gonna happen. We see what's happening with people, because they're gonna start that movement. I do have some flyers, and I will leave a couple of them here, and then I'll work with Carolyn to get the rest of those. So just kind of I've had one question, just kind of wanted to address that, is so it's around the insurance challenge that takes place and liability of what happens. So the way the Red Cross works with, we typically want to partner with government agencies, cities, counties, the state, to provide shelters in those kinds of locations for two reasons. We have two types of shelters. One is a Red Cross managed shelter. That's where we step in and take everything. We take care of cots, blankets, cleaning, all of that kind of work. We'll work with you to try and do that. Sometimes it's your staff that's gonna help us to clean, to keep things, if things get damaged, then the Red Cross would be looking at how would we take care of that, how would we fix that. So if someone comes in, puts a bunch of magic markers on the bathrooms, that'd be the Red Cross's job then to come back in and fix that, to see what that is. The second program is a partner, which is kind of what we ran this time as a shelter, is where we just partner with. We provide you the support to do that, and then you run the shelter and take care of that. Unfortunately, blizzards tend to be these kind of pop-ups, tend to be that kind of partner relationship, because we just can't get people there unless we have volunteers in that community. And we would ask for 2 volunteers at least, because you don't want people by themselves. Pretty simple process. I think you guys we're all kind of involved in that. You know, some of that. There's some tricks and some little things the Red Cross can do to help get people back on their feet. Or contact with the highway patrol, the sheriff's department, so that we can get people ready to go. And back when I was here, and what happens now is we tell people, hey, it's gonna open up at 9 o'clock and everybody's ready to go at 9:15, the shelter's empty. If we can all get people out, and then we can help work with them to get ahead of going, hey, my car's stuck, I can't get out. Well, then we'll try and work with them to help them get that out. So from a liability perspective is, again, Red Cross Partner Shelter, the liability kind of falls with that building. We like to work with community states. When it's a Red Cross shelter, we take on the liabilities to go do that. You typically, state, county, city, you typically already have liability insurance. You'll have to check with your insurance agent, your insurance provider. Typically, that's already being covered by that, because you have general liability, just like you have a party going on here. Should something happen, you'd be probably covered under that liability policy for that. So that would be a way to look at that and understand what your liability and risk is and how that can be done. And then we can help you to negate some of that potential negligence, because we come in and do a shelter inspection, say where everything's at, look at everything. If we see things that should be changed, we would let you know at that time to kind of go through that. And that's something we do all across the state of South Dakota. So I know I covered a lot. Any questions? Well, thank you again. Greatly appreciate that. Know that the Red Cross, we cover in our chapter, we cover pretty much about 3/4 of the state. So we're by here all of the time. If you guys have questions, things you wish you knew, or we know something's coming, don't hesitate to give us a call. We're glad to come out and be part of that or do trainings. We work closely with Pennington County Emergency Management. Dustin Bullock will be having a after action review of that coming up soon with the mayor to just talk about what went right, what can we do better, and how can we be better.
I guess I do have a question then.
Sure,
Where do you have the training? Do you, like, is it in Rapid
we
or?
come to you. So if you're gonna do training, we have a group of people that want training, we're gonna come in here. And I'll tell you, we'll typically come in and offer a hands-only CPR training class to anybody in the public that wants to come, and then try and pull some people out of that to do a little bit more training with them. Where we'll talk about the do's and the don'ts of sheltering, what you can ask, what you can't ask. keeping the forest clean, so you reduce some of the liability risks. Checking with people, make sure their medications are in line. So, well, fortunately, it's a 2-day event. People are kind of traveling in their cars. Bigger scenarios, we talked a little bit about a tornado earlier. Bigger scenarios, we would actually put a nurse on standby, either here or via phone, so that we can resolve medical issues that start to come along, and lost prescriptions, and it could happen here. People get stuck in their cars, they get evacuated, they grab their bag, they don't have the medications. How do we start to manage some of this?
You say we share that trailer with Kadoka?
Yeah, it's primarily here. So one of the things we're gonna take, so it's primarily here. It's typically 50 cots. We're working to get some more cots put in there and some blankets. Again, we know this is a choke point. This is typically, if it's gonna stop here, it's gonna stop and it's gonna be a large number of people. We have a yearly meeting right before winter gets here where all the emergency operations groups kind of get together. And so typically they're trying to stop it in Rapid City and they're trying to stop it in Chamberlain. Those are the 2 places that have capacity. So we have trailers in those 2 places to just be prepared for that. It's these little storms like this, the accident thing caused stuck, that we try to also look at and be prepared for as well. So we know Wall's another choke point, and then Kadoka, because people coming up off of Pine Ridge, get up the highway there, and that's another point where they get stuck at as well. And they had a number of people stuck there as well.
Well, the first people that came in here, some of them walked right in, and first thing, where are we gonna sleep? And Garrett bought the cots, and it was very appreciated.
Yeah, and I can't, and I see with the fire department, I can't say enough about what the fire department did, because again, we're stuck, the trailer's over, and I understand it was drifted in, covered in snow, and so they were able to dig that out, get that kind of taken care of, and then brought over here, unloaded, so lot of action happening, so we can't thank the fire department enough for what they did.
He wears two hats.
Great, I know everybody wears multiple hats in these communities, so. Well, thank you all, appreciate the time tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be back around, so we'll be working on this a little more. Thank you.
Sounds great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to public comments. That would be a 3-minute time frame there. Would anyone like to make public comments tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on.
I got one there.
Oh, sorry.
I probably shouldn't, but my name's Chris Clark, just a citizen, observer of the human condition, and a real appreciation of irony. And some of the irony I've seen recently is the city, as wonderful as they do in a lot of these situations, and I think are terrific, does some wonderful things for its citizens. The flip side of that is I see some things that I just have to scratch my head on. And in the last period of time, I don't know exactly my time reference, but I've seen and attending these meetings, and I'm not here to say what we should and shouldn't have in the city, and I'm not declaring support for or against any particular thing other than what I've already expressed, but I see things like the city council approving pot shops with locations. I see the city council approving liquor locations and liquor transfer licenses, and I see the city approving or trying to write guidelines for video gaming. And here we have seem to be just fine with alcohol, drugs, and gambling, but we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep a truck stop out because we're worried about crime and negative influences. That to me is a real irony. I don't understand how you can support some and reject others based on the same arguments. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't like truck stops. I'm not a huge fan of truck stops, but I also don't like pot, alcohol, and gambling because they're just destructive to families, if not more so. And in my occupation, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here talking about my occupation, but in my occupation, I do a lot of counseling for those three things. And they are quite destructive to the family structure. So I'm just asking maybe to consider some of the irony that the city is supporting and rejecting at the same time. Thank you.
Good point. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make comments tonight? Okay, seeing none then, we would move to the chamber director report. Kelsey.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
So December is always a busy month with events for us. So 3 big events that we had last month. Started off with the pancake supper. That was held Wednesday, December 7th, and we fed roughly 600 people that evening, and many children got to see Santa. And we gave away a total of $2,000 in prizes, and I just wanted to say thank you to those of you and then the Wall community members who helped with that. We wouldn't be able to have events like that without the support of our volunteers. The Chamber Holiday Sweepstakes started right before Thanksgiving and ended right after the New Year, and this promotes local spending all season long within our community. And through that program, we gave away a total of $2,100 in prizes. And finally, we hosted the holiday lighting contest, which this year had to be modified a little bit, also due to the weather. And we gave away a total of $600 in wall bucks for that. So through our holiday programs that the chamber hosted this year, we gave away a total of $4,700 in prizes that all stay within the city of Wall. So, and support our local businesses and support local shopping. So another busy year come to an end, but that's what I have for tonight. Do you have any questions about any of that? I'm surprised it didn't snow on the pancake supper. Usually when I have an event, that's the next morning. So I lucked out that time. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you, Kelsey. Okay, economic development, Kelly.
Good evening. I have a few things here. The Black Hills Area Community Foundation proposed a housing trust fund for the Black Hills area. They took that to our congressional delegation, and the congressional delegation said, let's expand this to all Black Hills communities. So what this would potentially be is a pool of money provided by Congress to incentivize development for below market rate housing. I proposed this idea to congressional delegation. The congressional delegation asked for community support before they introduce it in Congress. So what this would be, they're asking for a 20 million ask is what would be introduced. 5 million of it would go to Ellsworth. 5 million would go to the already existing Rapid City Strategic Housing Fund. And then 10 million would be divided between qualifying Black Hills area communities. We would be within that region. So if it does, like I said, this is all potential. They're mostly just asking for support right now to see what communities need this. So if it were to pass in Congress, what would happen is a local advisory board would need to be formed here in Wall. We would then, I say we, whoever's on that board would be able to decide, you know, where that fund goes to. They're not specific on types of housing. For example, the Rapid City Strategic Housing Fund now targets people with incomes 30 to 60,000, which seems like a wide range, but that can go into single family, multi-family, or apartment type housing. So what I'm asking today is I will draft a letter, you know, supporting this idea to go to Senator Brown, Senator Thune, as well as Representative Johnson, for them to then introduce it into legislation this year. So it would be a quick moving process if it does pass. So my ask is that the city council would agree to sign on to this letter with me for support.
Okay, does the council do we have a consensus to allow her to write a letter and we, indicating our support? Would that be true? Okay, yes.
Wonderful. All right. So my next item here is I have sent out business surveys to business owners here and employers in Wall as part of the Business Retention and Expansion Program. I'm currently doing business visits to demonstrate appreciation for businesses, discuss local barriers, what our businesses need, opportunities to provide services, improve services, to discuss businesses' future plans, and of course, discuss what barriers to growth they see. The goal of the Business Retention and Expansion Program is to help maintain a stable local economy. So if you are a business owner and you haven't done that survey yet, or you haven't seen it from me yet, let me know, and I look forward to discussing with business owners, what resources economic development can provide to them. Lastly, I wanted to let you guys know the land sale has been completed, that was transferred to economic development. We have closed on that. The purchase price was $20,000. The city will receive a $15,000 check of that from economic development with the 75% split. WEDC covered the closing costs as well as surveying costs. So the amount economic development will receive is $1,035.09 after covering those. So that is all I have for tonight. Any questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Okay, that moves us on to the Ag Appreciation Event request. Kelsey, is that?
I don't know anything about it.
Jerry brought this.
You have in the past, we put on the agriculture appreciation, there. How many businesses in town get involved in the feed states and have a dance this year, and last year we did not have a dance last year. This year there won't be one. You have let us in the past use the police station garage to help get us out of the wind. The rails are sitting outside. And then you have in the past blocked off the street that evening, just, they still have access to the back parking lots, but it keeps the traffic from running over the steak delivering people.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
And I do think somebody else came with any permits, did they not, or are they going to? I was told they were.
Yeah, that's already been, and that's just in office. Approval. That's the waiting of the community center things. All need to have a motion.
Do you need them one by one?
No, you can just to approve all.
So can I say something? So we have waived the rental fee since I've been here, but they have paid for cleanup. So if you want to do something different, but just so you know that that's what you have done in the past, and I don't know, Jerry, if you guys have discussed.
We have not.
If that's a fair number, last year it was $120 to clean the whole facility.
I would say that's fine. I'm not the head of the committee, but I guess if you thought that were.
Yeah, they haven't said anything to me about
Okay.
not thinking that's too much or anything, so I guess I just didn't want. If I'm planning this year, you guys had talked about it, and you guys can do whatever, but I just wanted to let you know that that's what we have done in the past, we waived the rent, but they just pay for cleanup.
Awesome.
So Jerry, would you like to move these items then?
No, but I guess I have to abstain. I should have said that at the top.
Okay.
I'll make the motion
Okay,
to approve.
to approve waiving the rental fees, but paying the cleanup,
Yes.
using the police station for grilling,
Mhm.
and block the street between the police station and community center for traffic control. Rick has moved, Kelly has seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, and Jerry has abstained. Please let that be reflected in the the minutes then. All right, so, very good. That is on January 20th, and it begins at, did I say C 5:30? Yes, that is what the letter said, 5:30 in the evening, so, and that's a Friday night, right?
Some people get there an hour early, I guess that's why I'm smiling, but yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it's a wonderful event, and the agriculture community certainly appreciates it. Okay, moving on then to item 15, liquor license transfer. Carolyn, can you talk to us about that?
Well, this is dealing with the, corner pantry that was purchased by Chris Borak, that is the business owner. And so the liquor license that the corner pantry had, needs to transfer to the owner, and so that's what this is basically. And that's a package liquor license that we held at that time. So, he's paid the transfer fee. The affidavit has been completed by Jody, and so all the paperwork's in order. Just need approval from the council, if you so wish, to approve this transfer, and then it'll get sent on to the Department of Revenue.
Does Chris run the convenience store in New Underwood?
Yes, and it has.
They have
he
several
has
others. Several?
It's like 10 other licenses, so
Oh, wow.
it must not have any problem, huh?
I don't think so.
They're not always, called BJ's though, in some of the other
No,
communities.
and I don't have that in front of me. He has.
PJ's Country Store wall, is
Oh,
what
okay.
he's got on the affidavit.
But the only one he doesn't have that is Poker Alex's.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Rick has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
And Jerry is second. Any other questions or comments about this transfer? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to transfer the license, liquor license. Okay, that brings us to resolution 2301.
And that's the wages for the 2023 calendar year. This resolution is supposed to be done by the first January meeting, according to state statute. And this is the same wage proposal that was done after evaluations by the personnel committee.
Make a motion to approve resolution 23-01 for the 2023 wages.
Second.
Okay, so Dan has moved, Kelly has seconded to approve resolution 2301. Any further comments, questions, or concerns? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. That brings us to ordinance 2301, which Carolyn was tasked with working on this after the last meeting. So Carolyn, would you like to update us on ordinance 2301, which is the chapter 5 business license?
Right. So, first off, I thought our video lottery, portion of the ordinance was very confusing. And, Stephanie did kind of give some clarification on that at the last meeting. And I have sent this to her, what my recommended revision would be of it, and I haven't heard back from her, but, basically, a video lottery license that is issued by the Department of Revenue has to be issued to someone who has an on-sale liquor license. And the only way you can deny that is listed in that statute that says 42 whatever references. And that statute says that you can deny it based on location. So, you know, if you've got two video lottery establishments were like next door to each other, you maybe would award the second one because you think they're too close. It lists them out in that statute, which reasons you could deny it, but otherwise you can't as long as they have an on sale. They are eligible for video lottery. Well, we do have interest in a video lottery, but the only on sale liquor licenses that are available are the RB licenses, which is the on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine. Well, by our liquor license ordinance, you can't have this, you can be issued this license, but you cannot use the on sale portion if you do not serve food. So I was just proposing that to put verbiage in there that a video lottery establishment would not fall under this requirement. Or the other option would be that you just take that whole section out of the ordinance and say nothing about if this liquor license is issued. They can have it on sale, off sale, not restrict them. And basically who that would be, like Common Sense, Auto Livery, Badlands and Company, they have this license. And because they don't sell food, we restrict the on sale. So I guess I'm kind of trying to get, if you guys feel that we want to have the verbiage of video lottery establishment would be exempt from this restriction, or if you just want to strike that whole section out of the ordinance and not address any stipulations on the on-sale liquor licenses.
Are we talking about a specific business, or is this just in general, or do we have an idea where this is
It's
going?
a business that wants to have a video lottery.
Okay, will they, so they want to have video lottery, and
They don't have an on-sale liquor license.
can they serve alcoholic beverages if they get that license?
Only if they serve food, which is how our ordinance reads now. Unless you change that section of the ordinance and say video lottery would be exempt from having to serve food, or you just wipe that section of the ordinance out, just remove it.
But so this would be setting up a situation where you could have video lottery machines, you could serve alcohol, but no food.
Correct. As the proposal is now.
And what, just, can we talk about, where do we have video lottery in town? We used to have it at the drugstore in the I'm just kind of lost track. Various, do the bars have it?
Dakota, yeah, because they have an on sale.
And
I question if Dakota Mart did, or because you didn't have an on sale liquor license, the drugstore. You do
this
have
was,
Oh, gotcha.
you know, the machine, yeah, a long time
Oh,
ago.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, you could, because you have an on sale liquor license at the drugstore, you could have video.
but where we have
Red-
video lottery now, they
Red Rock,
serve
because they serve.
Red Rock,
on-sale.
Badlands,
Badlands.
Three Amigos.
Yes, Three Amigos.
So these are all establishments that serve,
That's the only one.
Well, the Cactus did too. You know, they have.
serve food, they serve alcohol, they have lottery machines.
We're supposed to adjust this, not knowing who this business is.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it really matters who has the business. It's just whether you want
You know,
them to be able to have an on-sale liquor license if they have video lottery.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but it seems like they got video lottery and they can serve drinks. Seems like they should serve food too, just my idea. I mean, how hard would that be to do?
Serving food, couldn't that be a chuck wagon thing?
I think it has to be a.
You're not serving it, they're just purchasing that same. I don't think of it as being serving, you know. Yes. Because that was discussion when we changed that ordinance, that to put a limitation on those that did not serve food and like common sense, you know, how they live. And that was like, well, they do have food in there, but.
That
they're not
doesn't
actually
count?
No, because they're not serving it. I mean, they go and pick up their own food off the counter, so to speak.
Okay,
I do know you get up in the hills, you stop at a gas station, they'll sell a few t-shirts, they sell beer and wine and stuff, and then in the back they have a sign that says casino. And so that's what you're talking about, something on that order.
do they serve that alcoholic beverages so you can drink them on premise?
They
Actually,
have to.
I think you could buy your beer there and take it in there. I gotta have a trinket for my $5. I don't play the poker machine, so I can't tell you. I just know, like, you see them in gas stations that they'll be in the corner.
And remember, this is the Department of Revenue that has put these things in place, you know, so.
Does the city make money off them video lottery machines?
We do not. Some places do, but there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of regulation, and it was just, I don't know the history because this was all in place before I came, but yeah, the city could make money by charging so much per machine, but other towns do, we just don't.
The state makes money. And the bar owner makes money.
Yeah, I don't know what their percentage is, but yeah, they would take a percentage of the money that's put into those machines.
So you could get the liquor license where you could serve beer and South Dakota wine on premise.
That's the only license that's available and not limited by population. All the other on-sale liquor licenses are limited by population.
So they have to have an on-sale license before they can have the, we're not making it so they have video lottery, that means they get an on-sale license.
That's not best. That
Yeah,
Department of
I just
Revenue
wanted to make
said
sure we
you
were-
have to have a sale license. So when they fill out that liquor license application, there's a little box down at the bottom that asks if they're eligible, that I need to check, or they need to check, whatever.
Almost seems like we ought to study that a little bit more before.
Yeah. I'm for that.
Is there questions that you want me to try to find answers for, or what?
I'll go gambling this weekend and I'll tell you everything.
I mean, I'm not trying to push you on it, I just, you know, if there's something I can help get better more information for you guys to make a decision on, I can do that.
I give on what I have here doesn't show the areas that we could say that couldn't have one. Could you include that in our stuff? As far as what areas of that we could refuse it or?
No, you have, it's kind of a lengthy, codified law. And the reason that I don't really want to put that in there specific that the codified law reads is because if there would ever be an amendment to the codified law, then an ordinance is void, because it wouldn't have to change. We would have to do another amendment to the ordinance. So we just reference that codified law, and if there's any changes to it, you're still in compliance with that, so. Because that was kind of a thought at one time, and that just.
I don't know, I guess now I'm thinking if we've already given them an on-sale license. I guess maybe they won't lose all their money if they eat them and something in between drinks. I guess I'm.
That's what I'm thinking, so we're not the alcohol.
Well, and our other establishments serve alcohol, serve food, have video lottery across the board. I don't know, I think the food. I don't think that's a bad deal.
So this place I'm thinking of must sell beer in the back room then, right? Or I fill gas up.
No, that they would have to. They would have to come and ask for an on-sale liquor license. Because currently our on-sale liquor licenses that are issued do not have video. Not of the R&B license. Like I said, the RL license is already out. They're the bars, the hard liquor, that's what those licenses are. They already serve it or have video lottery, and we can't issue any more of those. It's just the RB licenses that are unlimited. And, but above in the ordinance, it says if you get an RB license, that you can't use the on-sale portion of it unless you serve food.
And some of that food served could be free samples.
Well, no, just, so like, because people with South Dakota farm wine, they like the sampling, like Prairie Winery, you know, people like to sample their wine. So that's the reason for the the sampling is if people are gonna buy a bottle of wine, they wanna be able to try a sample. So they can do that portion of it, but they're not gonna be getting drunk with just a sample of wine. Or whatever.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the benefit of expanding more locations for video lottery if the city doesn't make any money on it? And there's already at least 3 establishments that have it. What's the benefit of expanding the video lottery to the city?
Good point. I mean, is it an area where we want to lower the bar and make it, I mean. So all you need is what is it, R&B?
The RB, that's.
R&B license and video lottery machines, you're good to go. And you can serve on premise.
Do we need more time to think about this? Do we want to set aside this issue and put it back on the agenda for the next meeting, please?
And do that. But definitely reach out to me with any questions, or if you just want to come in and we'll visit about it some more so you can get clarification on it.
And Stephanie will be at the next meeting.
Should be, yeah.
I kind of like her input too. I mean, I'd be interested to see what she thought.
Well, regardless if we issue, I just want clarification of that video lottery ordinance, whether you allow any other places to have that or not. To me, it's just cumbersome and whatever, so that part of it is what I have asked Stephanie's assistant. The portion of whether you would allow that RV license to be issued for video lottery and not have to serve food, that's nothing she's been working on.
That's the council's
That's 2
decision.
separate things. That's just all under one ordinance, but it's 2 separate things. So,
Still, I wouldn't mind hearing what she
well,
thought.
and that's fine. I'm just.
She's our attorney.
Well, she kind of went through this last time and.
But you guys seem to be struggling with having someone have the on-sale license if they don't serve food. And
Right. That's where
that's
the
strictly
question
gonna
is.
be you guys' decision on that. I was asking for Stephanie's help just to make that video lottery portion of the ordinance more clear, because how it currently reads, it doesn't make sense what it's saying.
So that's, and she should get back to us by next time for sure. She may not have had time this time, but to clear up the language. But the decision actually is with this body. Chris?
I apologize for interrupting. Thank you for your patience. Does that create a two-tier system for the current owners of those video lottery establishments? They're held to a higher standard than the people that want to come in and not have to meet that standard.
And that's what Rick's saying.
Yeah, I think it lowers the bar.
Do you create a two-tier system? Because if they keep theirs, but they have to do more to keep theirs than the people that want to come in and not do that, you've created a two-tier system of people who can have it and people who can't.
Okay, so get questions to Carolyn if you have any. We're gonna put this aside until the next meeting and have further discussion and decision on it at that point. Okay. So with that being said, that moves us to number 18 on the agenda. And that is approval of the renewal of the airport farm ground lease agreement. There's no changes in this
No changes in the current.
contract. It reads the same as it has before.
Need approval to renew.
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second? Dan has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Kelly has seconded. Are there any questions or concerns on this lease that is a renewal? And this lease runs for how long?
Calendar year,
One-
January to December.
So it's renewed every year?
Is it, Mary, is there a set price on the lease?
Yeah, it
Yes.
should be in the agreement.
If there's a cash. The
55.
terms and the cash.
Oh, okay,
And it's renewed every year.
very good.
And if they're gonna change anything, it has to be done by September 1st. Okay. Now, I lost myself. Did someone move to have this approved?
Yeah, top and second by Ralph, so you just need to vote.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay. So that brings us to the mayor report. I too want to express my gratitude and gratefulness to our community. With the blizzard, I cannot say that enough, that the second blizzard dropped on us so quick and so fast. And I appreciate deeply everything that Carolyn did on fielding the phone calls and the travelers and organizing law enforcement and cleaning the building. Because she was the one that knew, and with that many people in the building, there was a lot of paper supplies that we went through. And certainly Kelly was contributing by just trying to keep the social media pages up and corresponding with stranded travelers. And then Garrett, for heaven's sake, put in 182 hours overtime. And Trevor put in 56 and Tayden put in 73. It's just amazing how many consistent 18-hour days you did, and thank God you did it, because at the very beginning, that first one, we would have really been socked with the second situation. So I really appreciate your leadership on that, and consistently getting the streets plowed, the alleyways, and pulling out cars and trucks that were just stuck everywhere. Because we did have about 150 people the first night and 100 that second night here. And then you guys on the city council, oh my goodness, Jerry and Stan and Mike and Kelly and Rick, you took the shifts because of, I was very concerned about people being here and not knowing what to do if something happened. And I knew we needed local assistance there, and you guys all stepped up. And Kelly, you did the graveyard shift twice in a row, so very much appreciated for your help there. And then just our volunteers that came in, Hope and Ashley and Saul, that came in and cooked food and figured out where to get food and how to do the food. And then Lily and Alexis and Lindsay and Pam Johnson and Gordy and Gina, once we got you here, and we were glad we got you home too that night.
It took a while.
It took a while, we had to be pulled out too. but-
Yes. Those 3 snowdrifts over there by that truck by Frictor Cabins was a doozy. So anyway, but thank you for being willing to come in, John, Arneo, and Saul and Lucy, all also helped supervisor. And then Kim and Jerry and Myron, they were the battery pack people and getting people started and trying to get the snow out from underneath their hoods. Those people were just so, they just didn't even know what to do. So having Jerry and Myron fight the elements to keep that going was very important to those people. As well as all the individuals who just brought their own skid steers or shovels or helped their neighbors. And
The people that opened their homes.
and the people that opened their homes. And usually that happened because somebody knew somebody that knew somebody that lived in Wall. And that's how those people ended up there. And the businesses that stepped up, Days Inn and America Best and Ann's, of course, had been open, but Super 8 then opened up kind of like instantaneously. Common Sense, Corner Pantry, Auto Delivery, the food center, and our restaurants, holy cow, did they work from morning till night trying to accommodate people as well as the Dairy Queen. And then Todd Sealer, man, he and his crew and all the equipment they offered. Tyler Swift with the drugstores, Bobcat, BJ Dart that helped keep fuel coming into town, into the city's outfits. Oh my goodness, D's Oil. And of course, the school district, they donated the food. The eggs, the drugstore brought donuts. It doesn't get any better than that. And scrambled eggs and donuts. And then the fire department, when you guys came over and brought the blankets and set up the cots and the water and the barbecue and then even the wall ambulance, who ended up transporting some of those folks from out by the church that were just in such dire need. And of course, the sheriff deputies and the highway patrolmen that kept finding those people and hauling them in there and then actually doing the caravan for us both those days. And just the fact that the community pulled together to meet this challenge and kind of like a really quick brought national attention, which I had no idea that it was gonna show up on national TV. And I wasn't at an event today for Elevate and was recognized there also for the awesome job that Wall did in providing safety and kindness to the people that got stranded here. So it took all of us. We did a really good job of pulling together in a moment's notice. So I'm just very grateful to each and every one of you. An update on South Dakota housing.
Can I just add to that?
Yes.
You took enough time, Mary. It's my turn.
Okay, all right.
3 minutes, you're up.
I just want to say how proud I am of our town. I know you've said that, but I wanted it out there. So many people will say things about Wall and whatever. This shows what kind of people we have when we come to an event like this, how people came together. I couldn't be more proud of everybody that lives here. And I know you guys, you worked your tails, and thank you. You can't say thank you enough.
Which I would like to add, Carolyn, had to clean restrooms from sick people.
Oh, yeah, when I did the late night, I thought, oh, I'll go in and clean. It was clean. Nothing was wrong.
Garrett, thankfully, we had an issue with the one lady that was having to fall apart. Garrett took her to his home.
Oh.
Actually had to fix her vehicle, put an alternator on it and get her, and I'm not sure, she's going through a divorce, just lost her husband.
Her husband or her boyfriend died.
And she was dealing with 2 little kids.
Moving
And
from Missouri to Montana.
we got her, which helped get her away from the rest of the crowd, because they were all by the second day, starting to get in pretty tough shape too, so.
I could tell by looking at her that she was. We went and slept for like 4 or 5 hours at the house, kids played, and we got her, Joe got her a room that night, so she had to stay there.
I did have to go out to her vehicle because she was sitting, it was 20 below. She was bawling, didn't want to come in the building, and I waited a while. I went back and said, you need to get your butt in. Somebody will turn me in for these kids sitting out here. But no, Holly should be thanked because she put up with a stranger in her house that wasn't quite mentally stable at that moment.
She got there though, she was just exhausted and nervous and worried about her kids.
So kindness and generosity was kind of our theme that weekend, or those few days, and it was just, it was very much appreciated.
Would like to apologize to the community that bitched about not getting their garbage picked up 2 Thursdays in a row. Heaven forbid, we were a little busy doing other things, so, sorry. And the garbage crew that picks up local garbage is out of Rapid City, they never opened up the eastbound lane till 4 o'clock Friday. So, I mean, we didn't have a crew any of that.
They couldn't get here.
Amos did open up so people could haul.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
was.
there was some misinformation going around. We had people commenting on the Facebook page. Somebody told me that it was the city's decision not to have Facebook or garbage pickup. And I said, they didn't say it's closed, they can't even get here, so.
I got to have a cool deal driving down the interstate the wrong way. That was pretty cool. Cause it was closed. I've done that before.
Okay, any other comments or?
I would also like to mention that you guys didn't mention here, the alert media type stuff that you guys were doing is very helpful, and if people are watching, they really should get signed up if they're not on it.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, the other thing I just wanted to say is that Echo Valley is putting final touches on the covenant that they need to submit to South Dakota Housing, so that should be in the first part of next week. And TDM, even though Todd's working with some broke down equipment because this has been really hard on it, and I know the cities have that same challenge too. He intends to get back to working on Gloria Street by next week, so even one of his guys went out there and moved snow so they could find the ground that they need to continue with. So, okay, and then Dan, I was just gonna check, is there any ambulance update at this point?
We didn't get to have a meeting in December. Every time we scheduled a meeting, it caused a blizzard, so I don't know. Maybe we won't have any more meetings.
Yeah, maybe you better cut that out. No more of that. Okay. With that being said, Carolyn, you wanted to update on the election.
Yes, so, at the last meeting, I had asked about combining with the school at Wasta and didn't. So I was getting ready to do the publications that when we do an April election, that starts right away in January. And checking to see whose terms were up, and nobody is up this year, so we do not have to even have an election. By setting those 4-year terms that we did, that's every other year is an off year for us. But since we set those 4-year terms, either somebody has stepped away or something that has caused us to have an election. So it was not in my head that we actually do have a year now that we won't have to have an election. So
Awesome.
Kudos to us. So, but I will be helping Amy with because I always did the publications, just because I had the most experience, but I will be assisting her so she can get those out for the school district and stuff, but. So, no election for the city this year.
Okay, anything else then?
That was all I had to update.
All right, Public Works. What would you like to see?
Snow, that's all we've been doing is snow. Moving snow. I think we got the lot cleared out over here, the lot over by the old school cleared out, all the snow back here is gone. hauled out of town, where else? I think that's it. Oh, over by Zach's, we hauled that all off, and I kind of, before the storm came up, I asked them if it was okay. If we piled it around, we moved it right away, so. We had, Full Center Trucking and TBM for 3 days, I think, and helped us.
Garrett, just a question, because I'm curious, what's the thought about getting the snow out of town? I mean, I know some places blacken the streets, but I'm sure there's. Is that just maybe because if there's another one, that really make it complicated?
Yeah, we just, there's nowhere to put it. We wouldn't have, if that snow that we would have got, what did they call it? Was it a few days ago or what, if we would have got that, we would have had no place. I mean, we didn't had to pile it in the middle of the street and haul it off. So, and a lot of it has to do with traffic safety and, you know, keeping up at people's lots, so.
Very good.
So yeah, we moved a lot of snow.
And you've also, paid attention to the drainage, because
No, yep,
if it warms up, then that's the next thing, right?
yep, kind of clean out some of the ditches and make sure it's gonna flow in, some people can island on culverts and stuff, so got that dug out.
Okay.
I don't wanna mention names, but I see some people even push the snow out of their yard over into across the street into somebody else's spot.
That happens once in a while. But no, I think it would really good. I think, you know, in the next couple of years, we need to seriously think about updating our equipment. That loader we leased is 3 times the loader that we have now. It's just.
The big giant one.
Mhm. I thought it was gonna be too big, but I think it's perfect. It's just.
Well, I was watching, I think, Trevor was driving something and he was slipping and sliding not in the snow. He had this smaller, I don't know. It was a machine that was pushing snow. I don't know what kind,
I
but
should pay attention.
I know. I'm sorry. You're trying to
We'll give
teach
you a
me.
tour.
I know, you're trying to teach me, trying to learn.
What's that?
It seemed to have pretty good traction.
That the one we leased,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've ran ours the last couple days and the tires. Yeah.
Watching you yesterday help me, you needed new tires on that one.
Yeah. So we could put the chains on, but then we'd have to buy mouth tires. Pretty rough. But no, I think everything went well. I mean, put a lot of hours, and then the guys worked great. I mean, for being a couple of rookies and being a storm like it was, they did a good job. So, and I'm thankful for the businesses, the Badlands and Red Rock. They gave us gift certificates to eat breakfast and stuff, so it's nice to have that. And, you know, and the help from other people in the community that went around and, you know, just kind of cleared and helped keep stuff open because we were busy in other spots, so.
Thank Trevor for sleeping here that night.
Yeah, no, I was pretty nervous about.
Me too. I thought I was gonna end up staying to keep her happy.
Me?
No, we had
I think-
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
And I think Mary was great. I think he stepped up huge too.
Yeah.
I just. For
Trevor
getting everything
caught up
going
and
and
stayed here.
as much
You
as
know I
he
know.
did, I thought it was great too.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff that people don't see that happens at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning that nobody knows about. And giving Carolyn a ride back and forth to work. She's like, how can you see? I'm like, I can't. I just go into my field.
Made me feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, making him be out there in this.
I still wanna cuss the mayor. Sent me out to look for a lady in a Honda pulling a trailer. Couldn't
Well,
hardly
it's
see.
kind of the
where-
other way around.
Yeah, couldn't hardly see where I was going and driving all over and up and down the boulevard. And she was in a motorhome pulling the Honda. And I think it was dispatcher's fault anyway. I don't think it was the mayor's.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah.
But no, then one other thing, you can one incident and I was running the snow blower behind the Best Western and I hit their propane tank and moved it to the side and tore the line, so that had to be fixed. They were just told like to have these do whatever if we need the help and just send us the bill. Dark and you can't see very good. I should have got out to look to see, but it was shut off and it didn't have any. So luckily they didn't lose all their propane, but
Well,
so I should have checked.
that's the only thing, man.
Yeah.
This is something that happened in other towns, because that was a question that came across the listserv, how do people handle it when you damage property? You just take care of it. That's all you can do. I mean, it happens.
So, and then I think I noticed the library light got fixed.
Kind of.
Okay. I thought you'd address that, so.
Yeah, we will. I straightened it up and the other one, it broke. I don't know how it got broke.
Linda talked to me today, said you had to hire an electrician or something to fix the broken one.
You probably have to.
So,
I think
okay.
it was a Christmas decoration. On it.
I didn't do that. I just did the front. That is all fallen down and broken.
Probably hung too much weight on it.
Okay, anything else then?
No, that's it.
Thank you again. Thank you very much. Okay, items for discussion. No action will be taken.
I've got a list, sorry.
All right.
Number one, our beautiful skyline swag that we've got, I've noticed some lights went out. So I called the company that we bought it from. And she said, when we take it down, just look, we'll have to look at it and see if the connection.
Yeah, I think it's what, because there's multiple.
Is there, okay,
Yeah.
okay, but she says if we have to,
Just put it in. Sorry.
if we have to hire anybody to fix it or whatever, they'll take care of the cost,
Okay.
so that's good. I got an email today from someone was curious why we didn't send out an alert when the alarms were going off earlier. This person thought it was, we took
Are
our
we talking
time.
about the siren?
Yes, siren. And, I just said I will address it. It isn't our siren that went off.
No.
And I would assume we were just trying to figure out what was going on before we sent out an alarm or an alert.
That is correct. I did not know what the circumstance was at the time.
That's what I figured.
And so you really can't send anything out until you find out what's going on.
Right. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
I do the social media updates and Carolyn does the alert. Carolyn couldn't hear it at her house and I couldn't hear it out of town, so we didn't even know what was going on until.
I will be honest,
Couldn't hear it at my house.
Yeah, so we didn't even know what was happening. I think Mary reached out to Carolyn and finally, and I didn't know until I drove into work at 8 AM, so.
yeah, well, of course
That's
you wouldn't. hear it.
kind of why as well.
Yeah. They just want an answer,
Yeah.
so that's.
Jared addressed it pretty doggone quick and he was on it, so.
I don't even remember when they went off. I know it was before dark or before light, but
Like 6 o'clock.
it was like, I didn't look at it.
You were sound asleep.
I was sound asleep when I.
Anyway, we took care of that as soon as we could.
Yeah, okay. And then the other thing was, and bring this up, they were wondering about a Facebook post that was taken down from the city site. It had questions on it, and she said that it was taken down from the website, and she was wondering why that was. There was,
Facebook page, city's Facebook page is meant to be informative. And when you get negative response on just information that's being shared, that's not what it's meant for. And I reached out on the listserv to see how other communities handle this, and a lot of communities responded and said they don't even allow for comments on their Facebook page.
Okay,
And they just block it, because that's all Facebook page for cities are meant to do, is just to share information, not to take people's negative comments or opinions about what information you're sharing.
Great idea.
So how hard would that be for us to do? To block comments?
You can just
Turn
turn
it
off
off.
commenting on the settings and create your privacy settings to only allow the administrator of the Facebook to post.
How does the city council feel about blocking that, so we don't get
Yeah.
on complimentary
I think
ignorant
that's-
comments?
That makes sense.
Okay, so the consensus of the council is we will ask Kelly to block comments on our Facebook posts because they're meant to be informational.
Under the council meetings, make your comments.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, Kelly.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else?
I think that would,
Or do you wanna put something on there to call? You know, cause I'm sure, like, some of the comments, there are some good questions.
Well, don't they have other ways they can contact?
Yeah,
the
that's what I
city?
was just wondering. if we wanted to
I mean,
contact city
email,
office
call.
if you have questions.
Somebody actually shared, what do I wanna call it, a statement that they actually put on their Facebook page, and I can share that. I just had put this out, question out there today, and of course, I was preparing for the meeting, so I can include all of them to, but they like put a disclaimer on their Facebook page, so to speak, that, you know, please come to the office if it's of concern, rather than putting negative and that. So I can share that with you guys, and you can see if something like that, or if we just don't want to put comments, or just put some kind of a disclaimer. so to speak.
Okay, and our phone number is definitely on that Facebook page, right? So they have access to who they
So, I
can
guess.
Yeah, it's on
contact.
the
Absolutely.
homepage.
I thought I'd seen that on there. Okay, good job. All right. Any other items for discussion or no action? Oh. Any other items for discussion? We kind of took action there and we weren't really supposed to do that.
Or just consensus.
Okay, consensus works. All right, our next council meeting will be on a Tuesday, so that's different. It'll be Tuesday, January 24th. And then we do have a need for executive session, so, Rick, would you?
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal personnel issues according to SDCL 1-25-2.
Is there a second to that motion?
Sorry.
Dan has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will adjourn to or not adjourn, but we'll move to executive session. They will need to take a quick break. Okay, so I will declare us out of executive session, and with that being said, we will address the vacation carryover.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we allow Carolyn Anderson to carry over 0.87% of an hour vacation into the next year. And also that Garrett can carry over 11 hours into the next year.
Okay, it's been moved. And Stan?
Yes.
And Stan has seconded the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. And then we need to also, Kelly, if you would,
okay. I make a motion that we accept Kelsey Clark's resignation from the the chamber with extreme regret.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, Rick has seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And, the other item we need to address is that Trevor has, become certified.
I make a motion to give Trevor Ricky his 50 cent an hour increase for his class 1 stabilization pond certification effective January 1st.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jerry has seconded, Dan has moved. Is there any further discussion on increasing, giving Trevor the 50 cent increase effective January payroll? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, with that being said, is there any other business that needs to be discussed this evening? If not, meeting is adjourned.